Hello and welcome everybody to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. Today I'm bringing to you a TVP on Xel Naga Fortress. Now this is an interesting map that I haven't seen too much, and I've been seeing a lot lately. I don't know if this is part of the new GSL maps. I think this is actually one of the new GSL maps. I am like 99.9% sure of that. Not 100%, but pretty close. It is a very interesting map that has one big central location with a Xel Naga tower that only lasts for a limited amount of time. It's only there for the beginning portion of the game, and then it just self-destructs. It's just gone. There are 3 spawning locations on this map, here, here, and here, and spawning in the 11 o'clock position we have this red Terran who is currently just marked OGS. This is actually oGsEnsnare, a very good Korean player from the OGS team. Spawning in the 7 o'clock position down here as the blue Protoss, we have LiquidTyler. LiquidTyler probably needs little introduction. LiquidTyler is a pretty well-known StarCraft 2 player, pretty well known just from his streaming alone. I know on his live stream, when he streams, he tends to get a lot of viewers. People just love Tyler. He's just a genuinely nice guy, or at least he seems like it. I've seen him on live streams. Seems like he's just a great guy, and obviously he's an absolutely amazing Protoss player. So I expect to see a good game. This is game 1 in a best of 3, and I'm not sure where this best of 3 is coming from. I haven't yet found out. I don't know if this is part of the GSL. I have no idea. But it looks like we have a scout now coming out for LiquidTyler. Gonna scout and immediately scout oGsEnsnare right away. And so far, nothing going on too special in oGsEnsnare's base. He's got a barracks coming up. And no, it looks like I'm wrong. LiquidTyler is not going to scout Ensnare right away. It looks like first he's going to go scout this 3 o'clock position. And he's going to see that nothing is there. We're just going to leave one position left to scout, and he will scout him in good time. Now, a little bit about this map. This map does have a pretty easy to defend natural. It has this natural expansion which is blocked off by a wall on this side, so it's a nice... You've got a pretty decent sized choke here, but you do have a choke. Some maps on your natural you don't have a choke, and it makes them very, very hard to defend. But on this map you do have a wide choke leading to your natural, so you can defend fairly well. It's pretty easy to take a natural expansion on this map, but it's taking the third. That's the tricky part, because taking the third, you basically have 2 options. You basically have this base, which is kind of out in the middle of the map. It's kind of just this whole area in the middle of the map down here is open, and so it's kind of a risky expansion to take, but it's closer to your natural, and so it's much easier to defend. The next choice is these bases here that are on these low grounds in the corners of the map. Now these are good options for thirds because they can be a little bit farther from your opponent. So for LiquidTyler, he could take this third, which is going to be on the other side of the map, for oGsEnsnare. But if you spawn in close positions, taking this base, for example, is very difficult because it is connected by a ramp to both Ensnare's natural and to the third of this base here, so you can get some interesting map dynamics there just because of the closeness of some of these bases. Some more gateways here now going up for LiquidTyler. Looks like he is so far going for a very standard 3-gate. Cybernetics Core is now up and researching that warp gate tech, and it looks like there's a stalker now moving out across the map as well as a zealot. It looks like they're going to try to get some early aggression and maybe try to do some early scouting and get some early damage in. Ensnare right now just going for 3 barracks, and it does have a command center up. He has not yet gotten any gas geysers, no gas geysers yet, so this is one of those no gas expand styles of play, which I tend to favor. I tend to like this style as Terran when I play as Terran. I do like this style of play because it's very focused. It's just very focused. It's very straightforward. You get barracks to constantly produce Marines, and then as your minerals start to really build up because you're constantly producing workers, then once you hit that 400 mineral mark, you throw down that command center, then you can throw down your 2 gas, and then you can start teching, and you've got a pretty quick command center up. So Ensnare hasn't scouted yet, so he is now going for that little scout. I'm not sure why he chose to go around this back way, maybe looking for some kinds of proxies. But the warp gates for LiquidTyler are now in, and it looks like he's getting ready to expand, but he hasn't actually expanded yet. This probe is now moving down to that natural, probably going to throw down an expansion. Come on, don't make a liar out of me. Come on, Tyler, you can do it. Nope, not going to throw down that expansion at all. Instead, he has thrown down a proxy pylon, and it looks like he is now moving his forces out, and it looks like Ensnare is going to miss this. It looks like he has not yet scouted this, and oh, here he comes! He is now going to scout that pylon, and he's going to know that this force is coming, that all these forces are now being warped in for LiquidTyler. Looks like he's going to try to do some early pressure, and it looks like he is moving his orbital command into position here. It looks like he's not going to be moving that out into his natural. He's got a lot of Marines here, but this is a lot of forces here from LiquidTyler this early in the game. The Guardian Shield does now go down. The Zealots moving in, taking a lot of damage as these Stalkers move in to try to deal some damage, and all the probes being pulled off the line. SCVs rather being pulled off the line for oGsEnsnare. A lot of SCVs going down to these Zealots. These Zealots are taking on these SCVs, and a lot of SCVs are going down. Looks like on the workers killed count, we have 13 workers killed right now for LiquidTyler. That is a ton of workers that Ensnare is really going to have to make up if he's going to want to get back in this game. If we check out the harvester count right now, we can see that the harvester count is 17 to 29, so losing those 13 harvesters really hurt the SCV production there of oGsEnsnare. So he does have an SCV moving into the base of LiquidTyler, so he's going to lose one more worker there. But he did, I don't know if he even managed to get that much of a scout on LiquidTyler here. If we check out the vision, we see that he did spot this expansion that is going down, but he didn't manage to see any gateways, so he doesn't know anything about the tech that LiquidTyler is going for, and Tyler is just going for a nice little contain here. He's going to try to deny this natural expansion for as long as he can, and looks like he's going to be able to do that for a good while. This is not that many Marines. It's actually pretty close right now. I'm not sure who would win between this group of Stalkers and these Marines. I'm not sure who would win. Probably these Marines, and now that these two Marauders are out on the field, definitely Ensnare would take this little battle. But he is going to keep Ensnare, he's going to keep him contained for just a little while, though, with these forces. Ensnare is not going to move out until he's really confident that he just has a force that can just stomp this group of Stalkers and maybe get him a little bit of lead in the army count. LiquidTyler right now still just going for a macro style of play. He is just building them workers, getting a lot of economy going, and we do have a robotics facility coming up, so we have a very standard 3-gate robo style of play from LiquidTyler. This is a style of play that I think LiquidTyler tends to favor a lot. He does tend to like this 3-gate expand into robo, and then I wouldn't be surprised to see him throw down a couple more gateways after he gets this robotics bay down. Just because that is it's a pretty standard build to do for those Protoss players that is very strong against those Terran players. Those Colossus are just ridiculously good against these Terran ground forces. So it looks like LiquidTyler's still just content to macro up a little bit. Feels pretty safe about his chances. He does have an observer popping out right now that he is going to go use to scout the base of oGsEnsnare. And Ensnare has now moved out and has now taken his natural. He is now mining on it. If we check out the worker tab right now, he is still far behind in workers, 24 workers to 38 workers of LiquidTyler, so he is doing very well in the harvester count right now. Other than that, he has thrown down 5 barracks. He has thrown down a Ghost Academy. No cloak, no energy yet for the Ghosts, nor any nukes of any kind, but that's not the reason that Terrans tend to get Ghosts in this matchup. The reason that we get Ghosts in this matchup is for those EMPs which can really just make the fight for the Terran players. If some good EMPs go off, then you can just get so much damage done. I mean, so many of the Protoss units, I mean all the Protoss units really have shields, and those EMPs will knock out all the shields and all the energy of any unit within a small radius, I'd say about that big, and with a few good EMPs you can basically knock a Protoss's death ball army down to half health. Imagine this army with no shields. It is basically at half the strength that it would be with just a couple of spell casts from the Ghosts. So those Ghosts can be very critical in these Protoss versus Terran matchups. Now it looks like Ensnare is going to move across the map now, try to deal some damage here to LiquidTyler, and but it looks like he does have a Colossus out right now. The Extended Thermal Lance, which is the range attack for the Colossus, is not up yet. That is generally an upgrade you definitely want for your Colossus, because it allows them to hang back far out of the attack range of the forces of most units, actually, not just Terran units, but most units, and deal their massive area of effect damage from a distance. scan going down for oGsEnsnare. He's checking out the forces of LiquidTyler. There are a bunch of zealots here, but they don't have that leg speed yet. That leg speed is usually a critical upgrade to get if you want to go up against those Terran ground forces, just because those zealots with leg speed, if a Terran force was to engage here, say, then these zealots would use that charge ability to immediately charge up to them and hold the Terran forces here, while the Colossus could stay far back around here and deal their damage from a distance. So it's definitely very important for the for those zealots to have that charge. It really helps those Protoss forces out. But right now, I would say with LiquidTyler's army here, I would say that he is pretty well poised to take out this attack force from Ensnare. As I said, this Xel Naga Tower, actually no, you know what? This Xel Naga Tower is actually surviving for a while. I casted a game yesterday of top versus Lozira, and this Xel Naga Tower did have a timer on it that disappeared after a while, if I'm not mistaken. I could just be completely crazy, but that was the impression that I had from it, that when that timer went down, that this Xel Naga Tower was no longer giving sight to units that were there, but I could just be crazy. So, oGsEnsnare now just macroing up, continuing to macro up a force of Marine Marauder. Looks like he's starting to favor those Marauders pretty heavily. He's got a lot of barracks here, only one with a reactor, the rest with Tech Lab, so he is favoring a heavy Marauder style of play, which I like against Protoss. Marauders just tend to do very well, especially when they have that concussive shell ability where they can slow enemy units that they shoot. This just does very well against Zealots. It allows them to kite Zealots, lets them deal a lot of damage to those Stalkers, and really takes down the Stalkers and Colossi really quite fast. Quite fast. The Scouting Factory now moving across the map for oGsEnsnare, and I just remembered that this match is going to be longer than a 15-minute match, so that means that I'm going to have to cut this into 2 parts, and seeing as we are just about at the halfway point of this game, I think this is going to be the place where I cut it, so stay tuned guys, look for part 2 in just a moment.